Good morning. Welcome to all of you. It's a real pleasure to kick you off on this second day of this exciting conference. And of course, I want to talk about the automotive industry because a lot of things are happening, a lot of things are changing. And we gave it the title, which absolutely is right, disruption is in our genes. I mean, first of all, many disruptive things are happening in our industry. And that was before the COVID crisis. COVID crisis accelerated this. And I want to leave a few thoughts with you, how we as a company and industry go through this exciting period. And we also said, like, hey, Opel is a real young company. I mean, we are kind of a startup. We were founded in 1862. So we are young-minded. We are only 162 years old. Yeah. So lots of things happening on our side. We have seen a lot of things in our history, but it's fair to say the speed of changes is truly accelerating. It's truly accelerating. And not only through this pandemic, but through many things. And I will leave a few thoughts with you during the course of my presentation. So first of all, Opel, as I said, was founded in 1862. We started with sewing machines. And then we went into bicycles. By the way, Opel, for those of you who are interested, was at one time the largest bicycle manufacturer in the world. And then in 1899, we went into automotive. And as you can see from this little video, automotive looked slightly different at that time. You needed two people to get the car started than today, and things will continue to change. So this is the start of our automotive chapter in 1899. And then many cars came, and of course, some of you know. Yeah, I mean, we started with Opel Doktorwagen, probably a good title in these days, where doctors could go to their patients in the countryside with mobility. Then we had a chapter where we focused a lot on sporty cars, and I'm sure you know the Opel GT. Only flying is better, we called it. The Opel Manta, which really was a sports car for everybody. So many iconic cars, a lot of history, and a lot of changes throughout a long period of time. And then a very important event for us was a change in ownership in 2017. Opel was part of General Motors since 1929, and then General Motors decided in 2017 to sell the company to Group PSA. And of course, that was a very big change for Opel and also Vauxhall, because Vauxhall as a British brand is part of our company. And whenever you have ownership changes, many things do change. And in the time before this ownership change, Opel had a very difficult period and actually was losing money for 20 years. And that meant a lot of things needed to change on our side. And we started to change many things in 2017. And when you have a long period of time where, let's say, the success was not there, you have to ask yourself, what is different with this new chapter? And basically what we did is we focused on our own people. We sent external people home and said, the power is inside of Opel and Vauxhall. We developed a good plan, which we gave a name called PACE, had very clear goals to make obviously the company profitable, go electric because electrification is a key trend in the automotive industry, and we want to bring electrification to all segments of the market, not have it only in small segments, but for many. And we said we want to bring Opel to a global brand, really, outside of Europe as well. I repeat my comment, the talent and the power is inside. We trusted our people, made a clear plan. After 100 days, published this, and then we said, let us implement this. And the implementation worked really well. So we made money in 2018, which was the first very important step. In 2019, actually, we achieved the best profitability in the history of the company. And I told you, we are a young, fresh company, but if you achieve in your second year with Group PSA record profit, that shows that a few things your people have started, they have done really well. And that was a good criteria, a good milestone for us to say, okay, We made 1.1 billion profit, 6.5% return on revenue. So we are going in the right direction. But of course, then COVID crisis came. And we had weeks in March and April where we couldn't produce and couldn't sell. And of course, that is not easy. Now, the good news is obviously with the health protocol, which is very rigid, we have opened our factories again. We are producing, our dealerships are safe. So the business obviously is coming back. But for us, it was very, very important also in this first half of 2020 to demonstrate that Opel is profitable. We achieved 110 million euros worth of profit, which equals 2%. Yes, less than in 2019, but in the black numbers. And with our history, this was very, very important. So we fixed the basis in terms of financials. Now, in all this period of time, it was obviously very important to have social distancing and make sure that all our people follow our rules in the factories, everywhere, in all our offices. And we then also wanted to recognize our people. I think it's very important in difficult times to say thank you and to recognize your people, what they have done. And we have given an Opel award, actually. Here you can see this to the medical team because they have done an outstanding job making sure that the health of all our employees, our partners, is safeguarded. And I kind of like this picture because we are together as a group with this Opel award, but obviously we keep the distance. All right, so basis is fixed. Now, what is the future looking like? How do we want to go into the future? And there, electrification plays a key role. We want to bring electrification not only in a few segments, but in a very, very large number of segments. And we start with a car which was very successful, and that is the all-new MOKKA. And we have one brand ambassador, and I'm sure you know him. He calls himself the normal one. Of course, he's not normal. We are not normal. Opel is not normal. We do exciting things. He's a brand ambassador of Opel for 8 years. He's coming from our region. He's just a great guy. And have a look what he says about the all-new MOKKA. Let's have a look at the video.
Rate mal, was hinter mir steht. Ein Opel, ein grüner, ein MOKKA, Elektro.
Wow, wow, wow.
So eine geile Karre. Ihr könnt es euch gar nicht vorstellen. Ich habe ihn schon gefahren.
Good. So, of course, Jürgen Klopp is right. I think he has a great sense of humor. He is a great, approachable guy who is with us for a very long period of time. And the all-new MOKKA is also a great car. Will come at the beginning of next year and summarizes also our new design language. And we want to bring also with this car electrification to many. Not have very expensive electric cars, but electrification for many. And I think this picture speaks more than many, many words in terms of where we want to go as a brand. And I think it's a great looking car coming beginning of next year. Now, back to our strategy. Electrification is coming. We see this everywhere. Climate change is really on the mind of everybody. And therefore, we bring electrification now to all our segments. Next year, 2021, we already have 9 electrified models. You hopefully know the Corsa E. I talked about the MOKKA E, the Combo Live, the new Astra, Grandland PHEV, a Zafira Live as an electrification. So really in all big segments. So that electrification is there for many. And also on the light commercial vehicles, we have an electrified cargo combo, Vivaro E, and also a Movano, which actually is an exclusive news today that we also have next year an electric Movano. So also where people want to have logistical services, we go electrification in all our segments. And by 2024, the entire portfolio of Opel and Vauxhall will be electrified, either with pure electric vehicles or with plug-in hybrid. So very important that we do this on the product side. Now, we made a very, very key strategic decision also that we control the supply chain, and we have decided that we also do the battery cells ourselves. We do not want to be in hands of external suppliers, but we have set up a joint venture with Total to produce battery cells in Kaiserslautern and Dobrin. We will just invest in Kaiserslautern 2 billion euro and will set up employment for 2,000 people to do the battery cells ourselves. We want to control the entire supply chain, the value chain, and that is a key strategic decision. And also yesterday, we announced that now all the final contracts have been signed. The joint venture goes live. And of course, people like Peter Altmaier, Malu Dreyer, quite rightly called it an historic investment, not only in Kaiserslautern. It's a very big gigafactory because Kaiserslautern will produce battery cells for 500,000 electric cars per year. So it shows we go mainstream with electrification, very, very important strategic decision. And of course, we want to be leadership in terms of take the leadership in terms of CO2, because CO2 is on the one hand a real moral obligation of our industry, but also what customers want in terms of total cost of ownership. And we have improved a lot. Just the KBA statistics showed that in the first half of 2020, our CO2 went down by 13.5%. So this is a big step. And we will continue because CO2 is really at the heart of the industry, the heart of customers, and obviously their needs. And that is what it is all about. And the compliance, of course, set by the European Union is just a moral obligation because there is no other alternative than to do this. And we have done many changes. Some decisions in automotive industry are long-term, so you have to change early to get the right results. But for us, it's absolutely key. And we will achieve the CO2 targets obviously set by the European Union because we focus on what our customers want, and this is really a moral obligation. Obviously, that requires a lot of investment in platforms. We from Group PSA, from OPEL, are investing also in a new EAT platform, which has extended range, obviously is even better in terms of weight, so that we can make sure all customer needs are really fulfilled. So investment into the future is key at an early stage to get obviously this result, because the penetration of electric cars, what we see is growing significantly. In particular now in the situation of the pandemic, where order intake for electric cars is really strong. Another topic for us, which is important, is fuel cell. We have a competence center in Rüsselsheim in our R&D center focusing on fuel cells because we believe fuel cell also has many advantages, in particular for heavy cars in terms of the CO2 balance, but also some customer relevant features like obviously it's very fast to load than the car. So fuel cells is a key element for us. Obviously, on top of that, we do a lot of research in terms of connectivity, also autonomous driving, key topics of the automotive industry. So there are many changes coming our way. I think we are well prepared for this. We invest into the future. And of course, it's important that you do that in a very short period of time because we have never seen so many changes coming into the industry in such a short period of time. I hope that I could leave a few thoughts with you. And I thank you for your attention, of course. Stay healthy and have a look at this last video where we also want to highlight electrification is not only like, hey, being green and CO2, it's also having fun and look at the Corsa E, which we will do rallying soon. I think it gives a good impression. Thank you very much.
Michael, thank you very much for that presentation. It's great to see that electrification is also fun at Opel. I think we're going to get Michael back into the picture here. Hopefully he hasn't left us yet. There you are, Michael. Thank you for that presentation. And as you said, you have seen this moral obligation when it comes to electrification and really in all sectors. Yet, at the same time, we've seen that the e-market really hasn't picked up that much in Germany, for example. It is a little bit more, there's more adoption in places like Sweden and Norway. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think, first of all, in the past, there was concern with regard to electrification. What about the range? What about the price? Also, how long does it take to charge the vehicle? And I think now more and more offers are coming on the market which solves this. Yeah, and let's take Corsa E as an example. It has a very attractive price. The range with 330 kilometers, charging stations are improving. So what we see, actually, those concerns are disappearing. And actually in this COVID situation, the order intake for electric cars is going up substantially. So when this year is over, we will see that actually electrification is taking off, and we expect it also to see in the coming years. And that has to do with, on the one hand, the offers are very attractive. At the same time, also, obviously, people get used to it. And once you personally drive an electric car, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. So I think we will see strong increases of electrification the next couple of years.
As you were yesterday announcing the finalization of the plans for your Gigafactory, we know that Elon Musk was here presenting his news about Tesla as well, and also looking at the Gigafactory that he's built. What do you think of Tesla coming here to Germany? Is it good? Do you welcome that competition?
Oh, sure. Competition is always good. And I think, especially in terms of electrification, I mean, our industry is super, super competitive. And I welcome this. And I welcome new thoughts and new ideas. And of course, we try to find our way. And that's why we made this important strategic investment into the battery cells in Kaiserslautern, which is great. And if you think about this, so today we produce components, diesel engines in Kaiserslautern, in the future battery cells. So I think this actually is a good summary of the transformation. And sure, competition is always good because it basically is asking for better solutions all the time. And that's why I think the industry is developing in the way it does.
And Michael, last question before we let you go. We've been talking all day yesterday about the fact that in the future, it could be that individual private car ownership really no longer is a standard, that we don't see that across broad segments of society. How is Opel preparing for that?
Sure. So we have a car sharing unit, and also we see that car sharing is interesting. At the same time now, during this pandemic, we actually see that car ownership is increasing again. But we do expect that car sharing will go its way. And we have, with Free to Move, actually a separate platform in several cities where car sharing is being offered, because especially in the big cities, I think is attractive, where they know you can park your car. And ownership is not a requirement all the time. Yeah, so we think car sharing will grow. Maybe not at the speed which was foreseen by some people a couple of years ago, but it will make its way.
All right, Michael Lohscheller, CEO of Opel, thank you so much for getting us started here at Shift Mobility.
Thank you very much, and have a great day, everybody.